Hi guys, welcome to part 6 of the Tamiya 1/12 scale Yamaha YZR-M1 09 build. And this is the third time I've had to film this because I kept cocking that up. Haha! So, in this episode we will see the first half of block painting the engine in the 3 shades of silver that the engine has to go. Don't worry about the grippy details just yet that you can see on there. That's going to be in the next episode. Unfortunately, my editing program at the moment doesn't like the length of episode I've got, so I've got to split it into 2 halves, unfortunately. So I'll stop waffling there. You pop off this way, that way. Pop off that way, and we'll watch the episode. Oh, the noisy compressor's shaking its head off. So, could do with a new camera, new compressor, new knees. Here we go. Never mind. Right then. So we're going to take care of the engine now, and front brake discs, chain, and the steering inhibitor, whatever the official name for that is. Yeah, I know the anatomy of a bike. So again, if it helps you to use a syringe or something like that, or a pipette to add your thinners to the cup, and then the exact same quantity of XF56 metallic grey. Focus, there we go. So I'm going to give everything a base coating of this for the engine, sprocket and chains, and the front brake discs even. It's the disc itself, not the hub carrier. XF56 happens to be my favourite colour in the whole wide world. I don't know why. 15 years old when I first started using Tamiya paints. I saw metallic grey and that was it, I was hooked. My favourite colour. So, roughly the same quantity of paint to thinner. So it's a 50-50, half and half, 1-to-1 mix. Whichever number you prefer. Yeah, so many different versions of that. I'll pop out the disc and knock the camera over whilst I'm at it. Cover the needle. Very gently blow some air in. Oh, look at that. That's gorgeous. Just gives it a final mix, and then off to the side. You can see my testing area. So just making sure that the paint's flowing nicely. Back down. Right, so what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to paint this face first, and you can see there's 5 nice little holes there. I'm just going to paint that centre one there first, and then that way when I stick the cocking tail stick in, there shouldn't be 3D. There shouldn't be any shadow lines then when I paint around the cocktail stick, because that area is already done. See? There's a madness in my method. So again, just very gently, just give everything a quick mist coat. Don't try and lay it all down in one go. Pop that off to the side, and then the steering inhibitor, we'll do the same thing there. Don't try and cover it all in one go. Just a quick dust coat to get it on, and then we're going to concentrate on one face first. That's why the tape's there, just to help me out with holding it. And then once it's dry, once it's dry, we can take the tape off, pop it over, and catch the other side. That one. to with the chain itself. The main chain is this metallic grey colour, but the faces, I don't think my camera's going to be able to focus on that because there's too much in the background. These faces here are actually titanium. So it's going to be fun picking all this out individually. We'll cover that when we get to it, so I'll just pop that there. I'm going to just give the radiator a quick dusting of this as well. Now this is actually supposed to be, I think it's chrome. I'm going to give it a base coat of metallic grey first. Particularly on these pipes. As well, the little turbo thing. It probably isn't a turbo, but yeah, I know, I'm daft. The little turbo thing, that's probably not a turbo. I'll come back, give the engine another going, because that should be touch dry by now. Just be very careful. Try not to handle this too much because the heat in your hands will reactivate the paint slightly. Shine on that. I love that colour. It does actually call for the brake discs to be gunmetal in the instructions, but I think gunmetal will be too dark, so I'm going to leave it in metallic grey. I know the camera's not having a great time picking that up at the moment, but that for me is a more natural colour than gunmetal. But that's just me, and my brain works mysterious ways like that. So we're going to leave that for about an hour now to dry off and things like that, and then I'm going to go to bed because I'm tired. So I'll catch you next time around with this. Yeah, so it's not quite 5 PM on bonfire night now. I've literally just got in from work and I'm having a quick look at this thing. And already people are letting off the fireworks. Far too early. Oh, hi Fox. That's Fox telling me about his hoodies. Yay, free advertising. Can we do that? Alrighty, so I'm just going to test fit that back together, and that looks absolutely stunning. I'm happy with that. I'm quite chuffed with how that's worked out. Really am chuffed. That's cool. I say it's not perfect, but it's enough to distract the eye away from, you know, it's a big lump of black plastic, which is the whole idea. Just to give the illusion there's something there when it's not. So I'm happy with that. So I'm actually going to stop filming here because, like I say, it's bonfire night here in the UK. and that means lots of fireworks going off. It's kind of like the 4th of July for anybody who's watching this across the pond. So there's lots of fireworks about to go off, and I won't be able to do anything filming wise. So, unfortunately, you're not going to get to see a great big deal more until tomorrow now. Which will be the day after bonfire night, when there's probably more because it's going to be Friday. Yay! So, the plan is now, for these two parts especially, is we're going to gloss these, ready for some decals. So for my gloss, I'm going to be using this ancient bottle of clear. This is actually quite an old bottle, and you'll be hard pressed to find this anywhere that it's not going to charge you a ridiculous amount of money for it. Will you stop with the fireworks? I'm filming. Hopefully by now you'll have seen a picture on screen of the current stuff. Buy that one if you can. It's super cheap, will last you forever. I mean, this bottle's 8 years old and I'm still halfway down it, and I'm 30 models through now. At least 30 models. It literally does go forever, and it dries super tough. It's actually a floor polish and protector type thing, so it dries super hard, and like I say, it's super cheap for what you get. And we're literally just going to give a quick coat like we've been doing so far anyway, a quick coat, and then we're going to come back and do a second coat. And just like we did before with the engine, just going to cover the first piece so we don't get a shadow line. And then we can carry on working around. Okay, just a quick coat, nothing too heavy. I'm actually going to hold onto the attachment point there and the corner. We'll need to scrape back some paint off there anyway, just so it will fit properly with the chassis. Try and get a quick coat on the inside as well. Slightly wetter coat, just to cover everything. What the gloss will do as well is it will enhance the carbon fibre work we've done so far. So, hopefully you can hear me above the noise of the fireworks outside that keep going off now. We've just done a quick one coat on the engine itself. We still need to do some detail paint work on that anyway, because there's at least one shade on the lower half and then a shinier shade on the top half that we need to do. I'll cover that when I get to it. So there's one quick coat going on that. You've probably just seen them from the time lapse. There's at least 2 coats gone on here. Now this is drying already. But as you can see now, the shine on there is absolutely beautiful. So it's not that matte anymore that we had earlier. And it's still quite tacky on one side there. But this stuff really does dry really quickly. It's absolutely gorgeous. But we've now got the shine that you get with carbon fibre as well. So it just adds that little extra wow factor to it. But I'm happy with how that's turned out. I really am. Okay, so whilst the swing arm and the chassis are doing their thing and drying, what we'll do is we'll detail paint the engine now and get that sorted out. Oh, next door neighbour's getting his really noisy bike out. Oh, so if you've got access to one of these third-hand things, they're definitely handy for this kind of work. So you can pop that off to one side now, and I can sit here and doodle away like this. And that's about some lighting because that's shocking. God bless. There he goes. He passed his big bike test a few weeks back, and he's never off that bloody bike anymore. So yeah, get yourself one of these third hand things. You can pop it down there and then brace one hand against the table. I'm right handed, so left hand goes down, right hand goes on top, and then we're all nice and steady for when we come down to do the brushing. But I'll cover that properly in a minute. So I'm just going to get myself sorted out and ready, get my paints together, and then we'll get stuck in. Okay, so I'm just going to pop the engine out of the way for a few seconds. I'll talk you through Tamiya paint. Now, they're absolutely fantastic for airbrushing with, as you've already seen. These things are actually alcohol based. Let me see if I can find it again. There we go. Contain isopropanol, which is an alcohol, and that's why Tamiya paints dry as quickly as they do, because the alcohol evaporates, speeding up the drying time. What it does mean though is when we brush paint them, I'll just give this a shake. If I leave this in a palette, like so, just blob some paint in there on the edge. And if I was to go away painting, so I'll just naff about just off to the side here for a few minutes. So I'm painting away and things like that. And we're doing all the details, and use your imagination here. When we come back, we start finding that the paint starts clumping a little bit. So I can nip off and do a second piece. Painty, 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 painty. Use your imagination now. I'm still painting. I'm still painting, even though I'm actually cleaning my brush. So use your imagination, like I say. Come back for a third go. You should be able to see the paint's actually clumping and drying now. And that's because the alcohol is evaporating. So when we're brush painting these paints, you do have to work quite quickly, but I'm actually going to add a little bit of Tamiya's own thinner, X20A, which is there you go, that's an alcohol too. So we're just going to be adding a tiny little bit to the colours that we're working with. And the rattling around you can hear off camera is a grubby old pot that I've had for many years. You can see it's all grotty and horrible, and it cleans brushes perfectly, which I'll get to in a moment. There we go. I'll get to properly in a moment. So for the time being, hopefully I'm going to flash up some photos here. I'll say that out loud. Hang on a sec. Never fails. You've announced that you're going off to do some filming. You can guarantee within 2 minutes somebody shouts, "Do you want a brew?" Anywho, photo popping up here somewhere, hopefully detailing the paint callouts. So what we're going to use now is the XF16. I'm going to paint the top and bottom half of the engine. Let's pop some things off to the side there. And we're going to pull and twist the brush to a point. That's probably a bit too much thinner. And on a piece of kitchen roll, or in this case blue automotive cleaning rolly type stuff. Just going to take the excess off and then working quite quickly but smoothly and carefully. Just going to bob this paint on to the sump. At first glance that's not actually changing the colour much, but it will do once it starts drying. It's the day of the bonfire day here in the UK, and I'm a bit sniffly today. Actually snuck up out of nowhere. So keep your distance, I don't want to pass this on to you. It's quite sniffly. I'm concentrating, I'm going quiet. I think I'm about to get shouted again in a second. I think my coffee's ready. There we go. So hopefully now we can see that that is a slightly different tone. Thank you! See, told you I get shouted. The sump's now a slightly different tone to the main engine body itself. So we're just going to go around with the same shade on the top half. You'll probably see now that the paint's all clumpy again up top. So I'm just going to get some more. Again, still a Tamiya XF16 flat aluminium. I've actually got my friend coming back from Phoenix at the weekend. He's bringing his wife with him. Chris is from Stockport and his wife Leilani is from Phoenix itself. Chris and I have had this thing for many years of getting American friends to say aluminium and laughing heartily when they get it wrong. So I guess what I'll be doing at weekend with Mrs. Williams. Has to be done. It's a shame at this point. I've always got the music from Take Heart, was it? When we were kids. And Tony Hart would have these Reader's Gallery flashing through. At this point when I'm painting I always have that music in my head, but for copyright reasons I can't actually use it in the videos. This is a shame, really is a shame. It's a lovely piece of music, so calming. There we go. Don't worry. Don't drive yourself crackers with the details of this. Most of this is going to be hidden by the chassis anyway, and the panels and things like that. So don't worry about it too much. Again, it's just enough to change the flavour of the actual engine itself. Like so. Okay, so that's that. So for the smaller detail work, when we're working through, is when we go to the pallet, if you pull and twist to a point, you've now got that nice sharp edge right at the tip that you can actually use as a kind of like a pencil. It's not going to show up well on here, but you get the idea. You can just dot on bits of detail work. Again, once we get to that, I'll cover it properly. We're now coming to clean this. So it's a grotty old pot. I've had it for many years. It's bog standard X20A. You can see on there that's a grotty. Pick it up, come on, focus. Loads of grotty paint on the end of the brush. It's literally just a swill. Quick wipe. It's mostly gone. So what we can do now is go to the kitchen roll, things like that, just give it a wipe. Run it across the back of my knuckle, and that brush is completely clean. And pinch around the ferrule, just work towards the bristles. But you notice that at no point at all have I grabbed the bristles and then twisted or anything like that. That's the best way of ruining your brushes and making them bald, by pulling all the hairs out. Literally all you need to do is just give it a quick wipe on the back of the tissue. Completely dry, no paint at all. It's that quick and that easy. Lovely. Oh, don't advertise. That's a brand that e-models don't sell. Shh, don't tell them. It's between us lot. Okay, so let's have a chance to dry now. Now it will take a couple of days for the metallics to dry off properly. So don't go straight in with knocking it with his hands. Don't go straight in with the fingers or anything like that, because you'll reactivate the paint and you'll end up with shiny fingerprints. And then as it's drying, you'll find the metal flakes rubbing away for a few days afterwards as well. And they get everywhere, and it's like you're leaving CSI type fingerprints all over the place. It's brilliant. Really brilliant. So just looking at the instructions again. And we're going to use some chrome now. X11, beg your pardon. Pop that there. And then again, I'm just going to grab some on the palette. You'll spot a difference with this one straight away because it's a gloss. The paint we just used was a matte, or flat. That's what the F stands for in XF. So this one's a straight gloss. What we're going to do now is pick out the main detail parts of the engine. So I'm not going to cover everything. I'm just going to rub over all the high spots just to change the flavour. And it's limited to the V shape itself, so it's from there below up to the sump. So we're not covering all the detail, we're just grazing across all the high spots. And what this will do is it'll add depth. odd choice on this flat spot. We'll have to cover that. And try not to paint this section here. That's actually going in, I think it's black. Yeah, that's going in black. It's the same with this flywheel here. Stay away from that, just paint around that part. So you can face that block there. That flywheel is actually quite a few different zones. So we'll just go all the way around, pick out all the high spots again. Again, right now, it doesn't look like we're actually changing much. Once it all dries back, you'll be able to see a difference. And if I remember rightly, copyright rules on YouTube, I can actually start singing that tune I've got in my head right now, but I'll spare you that. Oh, will I? Now, let's go for it. Do 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 do. Alright, I'll stop. I can hear his ears bleeding from here. Okay, so that should do us. I'm not too sure if that's going to pick up well on camera, but there's 3 distinct shades there now. It's not much, but it's enough to distract the eye again. You can't quite tell on the screen at the back. This is the worrying part of doing a video build as well. I can't tell until I start cobbling it together in my editing program. The cap on that painting there. I'm going to leave that for about 20 minutes to air dry and things like that, and just flash off and take care of yourself. Then I'll come back and I'll start doing the really small detail parts. So did any of that make sense? I hope that made sense. Hopefully you've learned something there, and hopefully you've learned how not to do things as well, if you see any mistakes. So in the next episode when we come back, we'll get into all the detail painting, like coming in for this little flywheel here and painting the oil filler cap, and just adding bits of colour that aren't called out for in the instructions, like whatever this guard is here, just to add a little bit of interest to the engine, stop it being silver, and things like these little caps here. There was something else I painted. Oh well. So it's picking out things like that just to add a bit of interest. Now, in reality, this is 3 days after I've filmed what you've just seen. So I'm actually ready now to gloss all this and get a couple of decals on there. Pop along to see my mates at emodels.co.uk. Basically, if they haven't got it, you don't need it. There's somebody clanging spanners outside. It's probably my neighbour working on his bike again. If they haven't got it, you don't need it. Their customer service is absolutely amazing. I've been with these guys for a few years now. Never had a problem with them at all. I've had problems with other companies, but not this lot. I highly recommend them. I think I've drilled that home by now, haven't I? I'll see you in part 7, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.